Right, so I'm just at my shop in Todderton, sort of junction 12 of the M1, and we just had a car come in. It's a car that I've talked about a lot on my channel. Obviously you know what it is anyway by the thumbnail, but I bought it as a bit of a project, and I'm going to be introducing it today in a bit of a, like, in the current state that it's in, and we're going to aim to sort of get this car into a reasonable condition over the next sort of few weeks or couple of months, whatever. So today I'm going to be introducing you to my Volkswagen Golf Edition 30. It's a 2008, they're all a 2008. This car celebrated 30 years of the VW Golf, so this is obviously a GTI, and the previous ones, this was the Edition 25, which was known as the Anniversary Golf, and I was a big fan of them as well. And when these cars come out in, like I say, 2008, or it is a 57, but I'm pretty sure it's an 08 car. They celebrated 30 years, and I was always a big fan of these cars, and they've just done some subtle changes. Nothing was massive, but little things like the Bbs Style Wheels, the colour coded front splitter. I think they had a GTI badge in the grille as well, which this one doesn't currently have. That's a little bit annoying, but as you come around the back, they've got a colour coded bottom splitter as well. This one, and we'll talk about this sort of stuff in a sec, that is non-standard exhaust pipes. That's basically the R32 Mark 5 R32 rear pipes, and obviously it's got the splitter to go with it. I'm a bit unsure about that, if I'm honest. I don't know about that sort of stuff, because my plan with this car is to try and get it looking as original as possible. So it is a bit ropey because it's got a bit of body damage here, bit of rust there. In fact, all four arches are rusty, I think. You've got a bit more there. This doesn't line up. No, there's just a bit of rust there as well. That don't line up. In fact, if I show you under the bonnet, let's get in here. That's right, yeah. It's got some nice mods, by the way. We'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, someone's attempted to fit these later headlights, which have got halogen bulbs, which I suppose they're good, but I'm a bit unsure about that as well, and they haven't done a great job of it. It's all just a bit of a bloody mess. So close that. Centre caps are missing, bit more rust on that wheel arch. In fact, that's probably the worst one of the lot, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, this one has also got rust on it as well. So like I say, I've let's just jump inside. I've bought it as a bit of a project, and I don't actually go out of my way to buy anything. The way we work at the car buying shop is people come to us to sell their cars, and if I get anything interesting come in, as you all know, I get it on the channel. And an Edition 30 Golf is something that I've always wanted, and I had one of these cars years ago, and it was a DSG, and it had been tuned. This is a manual, by the way, a 6-speed manual, which I'm quite cool about. DSGs are obviously better, but they do have their issues. This one's, I say that, this is a manual and this has already got an issue, but we'll talk about that when we drive it in a sec. But I've mentioned these cars quite a lot on my channel because I've always been a big fan of them. This one I had years ago, it had been tuned. It was an amazing car, great fun, and I've always liked the look of them, but I do prefer them when they're untouched. I just like a good original looking Edition 30. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to aim to get this car tidied up, get a few bits done to it, and just get it looking stock but running at a decent level of power. So in fact, it's already at that point. I don't really need to do much, but the plan for today is well, let's talk about the clutch on this car. I bought this car off another trader. His name's Bbs, a local trader from Luton, and I bought a lot of cars off him, and he does tend to sort of sell me stuff like this, stuff that are a bit ropey but cool at the same time. And this is strangely the stuff that I'm interested in. This car's done strangely the stuff that I'm interested in. Slow down, Calvin. This car's done 131,000 miles. So there's nothing you can do about the mileage. That's a little bit of a letdown, but they do tend to start, even with this mileage, at about £6,000 online. I've bought it for about half that, and I plan on spending money doing a bit of a budget build, I say build, or a budget project, and trying to get it to a reasonable condition or a reasonable state, and getting it back up for sale at some point after it's all done. So the clutch is it's basically had it. It needs a new clutch. It's slipping. It's not in a good shape at all. It has been tuned. It's currently running at 360 bhp. It's got a shed load of paperwork. If I show you, I'm not going to go through it all because of sort of data protection and stuff. But tell you what, dyno. Look, there you go. 365 bhp, yeah, done by R-Tech in Nuneaton. Right, so, and if you look at the dyno, that's still recording. It is, yeah. It's a nice, let's get rid of that logbook. It's a nice flat line, so they do tend to deliver power really well when they're mapped correctly, of course. So 365 bhp. It's got this stupid back box on it, which I don't really want to say that because that might end up staying, but we'll see how we get on with that. But the plan for today is we're going to hit the roads. I'll show you how bad this clutch is on it, and I'm going to be taking it to VRS today to get the clutch sorted. All right, that's it. Let's hit the roads. I hope this don't run out of fuel. It's showing 0 miles, man. Made it to services. That was stressful. I was thinking this is going to be another I've broken down video. I'm going to quickly go get a coffee and then go and put some V-Power in. What a relief. What a relief. Right, so this is not going to be another I've broken down in my car video. We're going to make it to VRS without breaking down. You know, this car looks so good. And that is something that I've always liked about these cars, is the way they look. They just look, I don't know, they just got like a real nice look to them. The Mark 5 Golf, to be fair, was quite a nice looking car in general, but they are looking a little bit dated now, aren't they? And yeah, this just looks right. So V-Power, let's quickly talk about V-Power. Let's talk about the sounds of this car, actually. It does sound bloody good, doesn't it? But V-Power, V-Power. It's a nightmare, isn't it? This is something that I know all of you lot can relate, or most of you that have got tuned cars for sure can relate to, because if your car's been mapped on 99 RON fuel, you can only go to either Shell or Tesco's to fill your car up. And when you live where I live, and or even doing the journey that I just done, and the only local petrol station is a BP, it's a bit of a problem. Now, if I owned BP, I would probably consider selling higher octane fuel. Surely that's a bit of a no-brainer, but obviously not as clever as me at the BP end of the scale. That's a slipping clutch, by the way. That's not wheel spins. But yeah, so I did take a big chance. I almost did run out of fuel and break down. It would have been a laugh if it happened again, but it wouldn't have been a good time to do it because I've got a lot to do today. But I made it, and yeah, so took the chance, done it, blah 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 blah. And anyway, what am I talking about? What the f am I talking about? This car. So let me just demonstrate the clutch. Sounds amazing. Clutch is finished, absolutely finished, and it has actually got a receipt in there somewhere for an uprated clutch, but it obviously weren't a great one. I don't know what one is in there at the minute, but it doesn't feel too nice. It's really difficult to push the clutch pedal, which ain't very nice to drive with, but but the good thing is it gives you an idea. So even just driving this car right now with the way it's delivering power, which isn't very well at all because the clutch has had it, you know, the noises it's making, the fact that it's 360 bhp, it's going to be quite a good car, isn't it, when it's all done. And you know, like for me, I say it a lot, I love a front wheel drive manual sports hatch. I think they're just so much fun to drive, and I love like flicking through the gears and stuff. Obviously the DSGs are also great fun. You can't knock a bloody dual clutch gearbox, but it is sometimes nice to jump into a manual car and have some fun in it. And I mentioned earlier that I had the Edition 30 all them years ago, and when I had that car I was shocked how quick it was. I remember driving it, and at the time we used to buy and sell a lot of tuned cars, a lot of Evos, funny enough, and I remember getting in that car, and obviously Evos and Subarus and stuff are four-wheel drive, and I got into this VW Golf, which was a front-wheel drive. It was all nicely modded, and I would try and get a picture up of it. It was a wicked-looking car, and I got in that car, it had been tuned, and the torque line, I remember the power curve on the dyno graph was just flat, and the way it delivered power exactly, obviously it would, as the dyno graph displayed. It was on and off. You put your foot down and it just went, and it delivered the power flat out all the way through the rev range. And when this car came in, and this has got similar mods to that car, I think it's got an upgraded fuel pump, it's obviously got the filter, the exhaust, so it's a stage 2 car. Again, I'm going to get Will to look at it to see what's actually existing under the bonnet, but I'm quite excited about getting it done and knowing what it feels like to drive a similar setup but with a manual gearbox. And strangely, like when I think about that car, when I think about that old Edition 30 that I had, it's probably about 8 years ago now, it's a long time ago, I wonder if I drove that car again today, would it feel as quick as I remember it did? Because when I drove my GTR the other day, I remember that being an absolutely mental car, and although it was obviously it was a very quick car, it wasn't quite as quick as I remember. So yeah, it'd be good to get this car done. And like I said as well, the things that project cars, they're looking at me like, why are you driving like a bloody idiot? Project cars are obviously a great thing to do. You can buy a car for little money, spend money on it, tidy it up, and probably earn a profit. But you can't do that with every shed on the market. You can't go and buy any old banger on Auto Trader or eBay now and expect to spend money on it and make a profit on it. It's all about buying right, and as in paying the right money, and secondly, doing it to the right car. Now this car, I do see a lot of potential in it. The manual gearbox thing, I think there's a lot of people out there that like a manual gearbox, especially this era of Golf. It's quite normal to have a Mark 5 Golf with a manual gearbox, so I don't think that's going to kill the demand whatsoever. Obviously if you want a DSG, you do pay a premium for a DSG gearbox, and there's that to consider as well if you're looking to buy one to sort of buy and sell, or if you're looking to buy one and keep as your own car. You know, DSGs, people do demand a bit of a premium for them, and rightly so. You know, it's a slightly more valuable car, let's face it. Now this car, when you look at it, although it is a bit of a shed to look at when you get up close, you know, the rust, the front end don't line up, the wheel badges are missing, little things, there's a lot letting the image of this car down. But when I first set eyes on this car, I was like, do you know what, that's such a nice car. And you might have seen it yourself when you saw it in the thumbnail. I thought it cut out then. I might have imagine that. I might have made the thumbnail look like it's, probably did put plasters and stuff on it tonight, but it is a nice looking car, isn't it? Candy white's a good colour. 3-door, they look more correct, I think, as a 3-door than a 5-door. I say it all the time, for me, I'd rather have a 5-door car, but 3-doors generally, if you buy this type of hatch, like an ST Focus, or yeah, that's personal opinion, I suppose. I do think the 3-doors look good though. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep it quite a short and sweet video. You've seen the idea behind it. I don't know to what extent I'm going to go to with this car. My sort of way of feeling at the minute is I just want to get it looking as original as possible. And I mean, I'd love to get more power out of it, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. We'll see what Will says. But I think I just want to make it a nice car and get it back up for sale at some point over the next few videos. I haven't bought it to keep it for myself. It's just a car that I've wanted to get my hands on for a long time, and because it's the right thing, I thought I'd introduce it on my channel. So I'm now in traffic on the M1. I'm gonna oh, my coffee fell over and it's emptied. Oh, that is annoying. Imagine stopping at a service station just to get a coffee and literally the whole thing as well. I'd rather it be in this car than anything else. It does need a good valet as well, this car, by the way. Oh man, yeah, I'm in traffic and I'm on the M1. The idea of today's video was to introduce you to my new edition 30 Golf, but I am also en route to VRS to collect my Audi RS6 that broke down. I say broke down, Ricky broke recently on his channel. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing an update video on the RS6 today as well. That'll probably be in the next video or the video after, so look out for that. So if you are new, obviously do hit the subscribe button. If you did like the video as well, hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see you in my next video, alright? Bye. In the next episode of Calvin's Car Diary. Apologies I haven't had this video up sooner, but I've got an update video for you on the RS6, and we also talk about how much it costs to get it repaired.